dressed in dark pants and a red hoodie, with some kind of emblem on it, unknown direction of travel. "Is the victim injured?" Haggerty asked, trying to decide whether to go directly to the scene, securing the laundromat, or take a quick spin around the area first, and locate the suspects. "Negative, 402, the dispatcher said. "Just shaken up." "What was the weapon used?" "Stand by, 402. Haggerty caught a flash of red up ahead in the beam of the cruiser's headlights, as two figures darted from his right across Washington Avenue down Madison Street. He accelerated, flicked on the emergency lights and siren, and keyed the dash mic again. 402, I have a visual on the two suspects near Washington and Madison. They just rabbited into Kennedy Park. 10-4, 401 and 421, copy? The dispatcher said. Copy. Braking hard, Haggerty spun the steering wheel left, making the turn onto Madison. He knew if he didn't stay right on them, that he would lose them among the project's many apartments and row houses. The hooded figures sprinting down the hill were already several hundred feet ahead. He punched the gas, and the cruiser shot after them. He was beginning to close the gap when they cut left in front of an oncoming car onto Greenleaf Street. "Greenleaf, toward East Oxford," he shouted into the mic, trying to be heard above the wail of his cruiser's siren as he raced through the built-up residential neighborhood. The Ford skidded wide as he turned onto Greenleaf. Haggerty fought the urge to oversteer, waiting until the cruiser's front tires found purchase on a bare patch of pavement, and it straightened out. The two figures were clearer now, about 50 feet ahead. He was nearly on top of them when they turned again, west, running between rows of apartment buildings. "They just cut over toward Monroe Court," Haggerty said. 10-4, the dispatcher said. 421 and 401, copy? Copy, 421 acknowledged. Haggerty accelerated past the alley the suspects had taken, hoping to cut them off by circling the block and coming out ahead of them on East Oxford Street. He turned right onto Oxford, just in time to see them run across the road and duck between yet another set of row houses. He rode the brake, and the pulse of the anti-lock mechanism pushed back against his foot. The black and white felt as if it were speeding up. Ice shit. Their rear end started to swing to the right toward a line of parked cars. He eased off the brake, and the Ford straightened out, but was now headed directly toward a snowbank in front of the alley. An ice bank, really. Still traveling about 5 miles per hour, the black and white smashed into it with a crunch. Haggerty jumped from the car and gave chase, the door still open, the siren still blaring. He would have to answer for a mangled squad car later, but there was no time to think of that now. The snow piled against the apartment building walls seemed to dance in the flickering blue light of his cruiser's strobes, making the alley look like a disco. Haggerty could just make out the two hooded figures in the bobbing beam of his mini maglite as he ran. "Police, stop!" he yelled. They didn't. He was gaining on them when his boot struck something buried beneath the snow, and he sprawled headfirst to the ground. Scrambling to regain his feet, he stood and quickly scanned the area for his flashlight, but it was gone. He turned and hurried down the dark alley, keying his shoulder mic as he went. 402, 1050, he said, referring to his cruiser accident. "I'm now in foot pursuit of the 1090 suspects, toward Cumberland from East Oxford." 10-4, 402, the female dispatcher acknowledged. 1 and 21, copy. Haggerty heard the distorted transmissions as both units responded simultaneously, causing the radio to squeal in protest. He rounded the rear corner of a 3-story unit just in time to see the suspect wearing the red hoodie stuck near the top of a 6-foot chain-link fence. The other figure had already made it over and stopped to assist. "Freeze!" Haggerty yelled as he drew his weapon. Neither suspect heeded his warning. Haggerty was at full stride, gun at the low ready position, about 15 feet from the fence, when the first suspect finally pulled the second one loose. Up and over they went, leaving Haggerty on the wrong side of the barrier. Damn! Haggerty holstered his Glock, then backed far enough away from the fence to give himself a running start. He hit the fence, left foot out in front, reaching for the top with his gloved hands, and then vaulted up and